I generally like to do a little bit of introspection and ask myself some deep questions about life and stuff in order to know myself better because I feel like you never know yourself enough, no matter how much you think you've reached in your journey of growth and enlightenment and all of that. I feel like there are still many things you have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. At the age that I am myself, when I'm 29 years old, it's not a secret. There is nothing to hide. I love my age, and I think that aging is so beautiful. You feel like you're discovering so much more about life, about yourself. You discover that there are layers in your own personality, in your own psyche, in everything. And you start to find lots of interesting patterns when you analyze your past, your present, and your future. You start to see like something like there is a thread in all of that you start to see like some kind of meaning, some kind of direction, some kind of leitmotif that is in the choices that you've made. And obviously you do want to know where you're heading. But today what I want to talk about specifically is my relationship with reading. For those who know me, they probably know that perhaps the biggest passion of my entire life is books and reading, literature, the world of intellect, everything that has to do with psychology, human nature, and philosophy. I just adore that. I know, interestingly enough, there have been many phases in my life where people associate me with that pretty girl, like eye candy sort of, which is also true. It's not entirely false. But I don't understand why you have to be either or. Like, why can't you be someone who is glamorous, fashionable, elegant, and also someone who is very intellectual, intelligent, and knowledgeable? There is that cliche that the intellectual person has to be someone who is boring and not very good looking, not very interested in fashion and all of that. But that's just a cliche. And what I find really interesting here is that I think you might think that most of my satisfaction or pride would come from the compliments I receive on my looks, which, to be very honest, I do receive a lot. I have, like I said, I've never in my life has it been my aim to get compliments on based on my looks, but I've never even considered myself as super good looking. But I did receive more than my fair share of attention and admiration. And although I'm humbled by that, I'm very flattered and humbled. But the compliments which mean a lot more to me are compliments based on my intellect, on my inner qualities, on my intelligence and my skills. So if you have to ask me like what have like some of the best moments of my life, some of the moments in my life where I felt the proudest, do we say that proudest? Yeah, well, I felt immensely good in my own skin, confident in my abilities, and really on top of the world were the moments where I had worked hard for a project or an assignment or an essay, and I received exactly what I deserve. Like it might have been a straight A for in a module, or any when I was studying my subjects at high school or university, I made these choices because I was very passionate about these subjects. It never had anything to do with competing with anyone. It never had anything to do with pressure from external sources or opinions of other people. I was genuinely passionate about literature, Urdu, art, and all of that. And I did exactly that. And by the grace of God, I did obtain very good results. I could have obtained even better results, but there were some struggles going on in my mind at that time. So, given the circumstance, I think it was a very good job. I have no idea how I managed as an 18-year-old kid, you must say, with the struggles that I was facing at the time. How did I manage to study and get such decent grades? I don't know how I did it, but somehow it happened. And yeah, there is so much to say about my relationship with my studies, with my relationship with language, with the world of literature, reading books, and all of that. There is so much to say because perhaps this is the one main motive that has remained constant and relevant in my life. My tastes, my choices, my personality might have evolved from time to time, like any normal human being, I would say. But there is something that I have never really lost interest in, and that is reading and writing. For me, I've always like my childhood dream, my dream has always been to be a writer and to publish my own books and novels because books can change your life, and my life has changed due to books. So really, yeah, I wanted to share something which I never get tired of sharing. I love to remind myself of that. So I have a sister who is 3 years older than me, and those who have an elder sibling, especially in our back in our times in the 90s. So whatever your elder sister or brother did, consciously or unconsciously, it rubbed off on you, and you found yourself inspired or motivated by them. So for me, my sister was always a kind of guru. We fought a lot, but for me, like I remember that when she would narrate to me her experience of school, like everything that she was experiencing, she was getting it before me. So I would listen and I was so immersed by what she was saying. For example, I always remember like when she was a student, she was doing literature and she used to buy so many books, like so many books. Outside of the syllabus, she was always reading beyond and how do we say that? Yeah, she was always reading out of passion. I remember when you were leafing through her books, there were highlighted parts, there were sticky notes, annotations, and comments, and all of that. So she was totally into that world. And consciously or unconsciously, I felt such fascination for the world of literature and writing and English and whatever she was doing. I was really hooked by that. The way she would explain it, she was so passionate about it. When she would teach me, like when she would explain to me, it was like the best teacher ever. And it's true that when you do have passion for something, when you are passionate about something, no matter what it is, if it's biology, if it's physics, if it's economics, or whatever it might be, you do end up excelling in that field. And when I went to university, I was no longer that bright kid who came first. My GPA dropped a lot, but I was excellent in one specific module, which was visual art theory. So it was everything theoretical about the history of art. And that was like I was confident in that module. I knew that I would nail it because I had an edge over my classmates, which is reading. So I was always reading. I could write like 2000 thousand words in 1 hour. And I'm not boasting, but just to tell you that I hope that one day I can use my skills again, because there is a little frustration when you think of like, for most of us adults, we were good at one specific subject or field or any area of expertise, and then it gets unutilized or underutilized, which I think is very, very sad. So for my own part, I would say that many times I catch myself reflecting like life is going by so rapidly. We barely get the time to catch our breath. It's just routine. You're staying alive, you're trying to survive, you're working, which is a normal thing to do for adults. But then you do sometimes stop and reflect and ask yourself like, what happened to my passions? What happened to, I was so good at that, why don't I do it again? I did my degree in fine arts. I graduated, and I think I haven't really made a painting out of love and passion since eternity. I don't remember the last time I did it. My excuses, well, I have lots of excuses. I will probably have to make a whole new video for that. But this is just something that to I wanted to remind myself actually of how much I love books, how much I love reading, and why, like, I think the universe really wants me to get back to it. Yeah. The universe is always telling you all sorts of messages. You just have to listen and act upon it.